Oh, I can't hear you.
Can you see me now?
Can't hear you. Oh, yeah. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Ah, great. Perfect. Yeah, I can hear you now.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I love your background.
Oh, thank
It's
you.
so sunny and holiday
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah.
How you doing?
I'm really good. Really, really good.
Busy?
Yeah, but I took a little break in just a couple of days, and just really
Yeah.
enjoyed. And some apparent deepening happened, which is really beautiful.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. How are you?
I had a few days off as well for different reasons. I was supposed to have had COVID last week.
I'm sorry?
I had COVID last
Oh,
week.
oh, wow. Okay.
So so yes, I wasn't working for a couple of days and just chilling out and then yeah, I'm just really tired at the moment, just so tired. I don't know how you how it went for you when you had COVID, but yeah, absolutely.
I was just
But
I just saw my video and I did a video at the start of my COVID. It was kind of funny. I'm like, oh, I do look deathly ill, seeing the video. But there was this loving for doing it, right? So it just I guess it just and then people were like, we can tell that you had a fever. I'm like, you did? And I looked at my video and they're like, oh yeah, that's right. I look really good. I
yeah,
look like, but
but you
but
sounded great. So
I don't know. I didn't listen
yeah,
to myself, but
you
um,
don't
what for?
sound check. I don't know.
um, yeah, yeah. So the deepening happened. This is really beautiful. I was just walking at night in a dingy street. I had a couple of beers, you know what I'm saying, and I ended up in a
Yeah,
dingy street, and there was um, I I don't drink anymore, so a little few alcohol almost blacks out me, right? It's kind of funny because I'm not
yeah,
escaping, but there was this collapsing of the character back and forth. It's already seen that there's no character, but there's the navigation system was
yeah,
off, meaning that everything's blacked out and it comes back, and it ended up in a street, because it was kind of like lost, and this street had a lot of like drug dealers and people trying to sell you something. And then when it saw everything, there was this, I avoid the term unconditional love, but it was unconditional love seeing everything. And it was in love with everything, in love with the drug dealers, in love with the seedy part of the street, in love with the darkness, in love with everything that appears. And I
yeah.
was just blown away by that. I'm like, oh, wow, that's what it is. It
Mm,
can't reject anything because it's in
yeah,
love with everything that appears. So it could be someone conning you or someone trying to steal from you. It's just in love with it, right? And
yeah,
it doesn't have any kind of like filters in terms of separation, because what it sees is itself appearing in everything. And there was just this
yeah.
depth to it, right? And I woke up the next morning. I ended up kind of like someone is offering me drugs. I'm like, oh no, no, it's okay. He goes, but he goes, you have money? And then trying to rob me. I'm like, I can give you money. It's okay. Saying it's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
And
He
did
goes,
you?
yeah, why not? Uh, it's not trying to fix the situation anymore, because when that happened to me, I
Yeah,
had an awakening in a similar situation where I was in a street. So I tried to be the Messiah, thinking that I could save them. That
yeah,
this time around, um, there's no one there. It's just unconditional love appearing as individuals, appearing as separation. So there's nothing to fix, because that's also perfection.
yeah,
So what usually happens, and when the character kind of like drinks or something, the next day or during the times, like, oh, why did I do that? Because there's this, but it was also seen as perfection. It was in love with
mm,
that, what people would call a mistake or something, like, oh, why did you do that? That kind of,
yeah,
no, that is divinity itself.
yeah,
The person in the street trying to rob you is divinity itself. And then so I woke up the next day and everything that was appearing was in love. It was just this intense love. um, and because there's no one that rejects it here, because there's no one here. So there was just this kind of like, I was just kind of like in paradise. It's always paradise, but this was just an intensity. It's like it's seeing it, that
Yeah.
the cobwebs is in infinity. Everything is infinity, and it doesn't have a choice but to love itself. Its only function is to love whatever is appearing. So there's this
Yeah.
rejector, which is the illusion that rejects what is. It rejects the
Yeah.
love. It
Yeah.
rejects, and it thinks it can do better
Yeah.
because it thinks it's God.
Yeah.
The wanting to be enlightened is so that it can surpass what is, but it can't because it doesn't have any power.
Yeah.
So what's appearing is in love with itself. It even is in love with the one that rejects it. That's how unconditional it is. It's in love with all of those dark thoughts, all of those seemingly wrongdoings, because it cannot see it separate from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the
Yeah.
beginning.
It's beautiful. Sounds absolutely beautiful. It
Yeah.
sounds similar. I mean, I wouldn't call it a deepening, but there was a bit of a realization because I think I spoke about it before about like, what's going on in the world and,
Yeah, yeah.
the conspiracy theories and tyranny and especially for you, I guess in Toronto, it's been a
Oh,
bit
yeah.
complicated, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know how you're living now, but yeah, your president
Oh, not
is
at all.
doing all sorts of strange things. You're not, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But it's happening, I guess. So it's,
There's no more.
but
I don't really pay attention to any of it, to be honest with you. And if paying attention happens,
yeah,
that's okay too. But in this character, it's just, it doesn't. It
yeah,
doesn't even read the news, really.
yeah.
It doesn't see the point.
Well, I go through these phases of like, being involved and then not being involved. But what occurred to me the other day was that because I have this big thing a bit against Bill Gates and everything that he's doing at the moment, and
Yeah.
this kind of anger, and it
But there's
shouldn't
no
be
Bill
like this,
Gates.
and there's no Bill Gates.
Yeah.
And what came was like, well, if this is all God and this is all, let's say, God's creation, then God created Bill Gates equally as he created me, as he created the sun and the stars and everything. So
Yeah.
why should he be any different to any of it? It's just his love as well as everything else as well. And it kind of collapsed. And it's like, well, everything is them.
Yeah.
Everything is that.
Yeah.
And there's no rejection. Then there's no rejection of like accepting this and
Yeah.
that's not good and then sorting out and
Yeah. Yeah.
but
And
yeah,
it's
I mean
peaceful now, right?
it's yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
I mean there are still like triggers, but I see them and
That's
it's like,
also that's
it's
also it. The triggers.
yeah.
It's also emptiness or whatever you want to call it, right? It's everything that's appearing is it.
Yeah.
Even the rejection or even the acceptance is it, right? It's the uh, the absence is just the one, the guard keeper, right? The guard keeper is impotent, but it thinks it has control. The one that disrupts it, because what's being
Yeah.
offered over and over again is let's just use the word God. God is showing up in everything, and you kept on saying nope, 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 nope,
Yeah.
nope.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's in everything, even the one that's saying nope.
Yeah, and then seeing that there's no power here for me to do anything about anything anyway, even if this character wanted to change the world and sort Bill Gates out, put him in prison, and stop
Yeah, yeah,
chemtrails or whatever it is, that it's just happening as it's happening, and
yeah,
that's it.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
That's it.
It's
Yeah,
that simple.
it's really simple. I don't know how many one-on-ones we had, but that's I keep on saying that it's just really simple.
Yeah,
The one that complicates it is the one that disrupts it,
yeah,
because it tries to understand it, it tries to acquire it, tries to conceptualize it, because it can
yeah,
only think in concepts because it's a concept itself, right? So what's being expressed here is not a concept, it's not a story, it's in everything. although that appears like a story, but it can only communicate in this way. But the expression of all of this, the unconditional love, um, only functions is love. That's it. Simple. It's unconditionally loving everything, and that's it. It loves your conspiracy theories ideas. It loves Bill Gates. It loves chemtrails. Otherwise, it would not appear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it loves your hate for that. It can't do anything else but love. So this boundless energy, you can say, is just operating on unconditional love. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, the only thing that can be said is that this is just happening as it is,
Yeah,
rejecting, not rejecting.
exactly.
It's just all part of this so-called dream, this appearance, and that's the way it's going, and that's it. And
It's it. Yeah,
there's nothing else to say, really.
yeah. Anything that said actually complicates it more, right? Because that's
Yeah.
why I when they said it's just really simple, that it's just what's happening and nothing else is happening. All that there is this. That's a full stop already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's why the character wants to, it can't accept that simplicity because it thinks
yeah.
that there has to be something
It
else, or it
asks
has
the
to,
how and why and
yeah.
how come or what or why or when. All of those questions is the disruption of something that's cannot be questioned.
So, can I just ask then something that's always been trouble for the person here is this kind of decisions and how to live life and what I should be doing.
Hmm.
Um, and so this is kind of thing going on where it's seen that it's just happening anyway. So whether there's a thought I should do this or I should do that, it's happening anyway. So
Yeah,
that's,
yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's
but at
no
the same
one, no
time,
one, no one, no one's doing anything. No one's choosing to do this or that. So when it appears and there's this illusion of choosing it, no one chose it
yeah,
still. Even if there's an illusion that I chose this.
that's right. Yeah,
Yeah. Or even the illusion that I'm not going to do anything, and then you end up doing everything.
yeah,
No one did that. No one did any either or. No one chooses not to. It's no chooser at all. There's the illusion
yeah.
that someone is choosing, but when it's seen that that's not really even happening, then everything just kind of like loosens its seriousness, right? You're like, oh, this is just a story, in the apparent time as it lapses, it seems to be a deepening of not giving a fuck at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and no one
It,
chooses not to give a fuck or to give a fuck.
exactly.
Yeah,
This, there's a kind of a thought of that's so irresponsible. Like,
yeah, yeah,
this,
yeah,
it's like, you should have a plan. You should like,
yeah.
no,
Well,
you
you
need
can have a
to,
plan, but just seeing that there's no one making a plan.
there's no plan here.
Yeah,
It doesn't seem to be going anywhere really
that's
in
what freedom
particular.
is, though, right? Unconditional freedom is no plans. Because if you're planning something, then that's bondage, really.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this, I guess it's moving away. What I saw the other day was like you've got all of these kind of beliefs that are pulling in this direction, and then there's freedom that's not, well, it's not really pulling, but it's just there. And the kind of the beliefs are pulling away from that freedom in a way because they kind of say, come this way.
Because
This
it
is what you
wants to
need to
it wants to
believe.
control freedom, right? It wants to believe in freedom, right? But
Yeah.
freedom is not a belief.
No,
No.
exactly. It's the opposite.
Yeah. It tries to box it in, right? into something that it can. So what's being spoken about is the openness and everything, right? So it's like a house that has windows open, doors open, everything's open, and freedom resides in openness, right? The moment that you lock it in, it's not free anymore.
Yeah.
So the moment that you plan or you think, because you make yourself real, you believe in the illusion is functioning in illusion. So any illusion that comes in is free to come and stay as they go, right? Because it's really nothing. So there's this lightness. It's free.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like lucid dreaming, right? There's this intuition, or this that nothing is happening, that this is really a dream. So it's relaxed. It's not like, it's not taken seriously. It's not believed. So there's a
Yeah.
disbelief, but there's this sense that it's happening, but it's not really. It can't really be
Yeah.
put into words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember years ago I used to have these dreams that kind of nightmares in a way, but and and there were these things happening, like these threats or whatever it was, and the monsters, and they're all appearing, and there's like this knowing, like it's all okay. This is just a dream,
Yeah.
and it's like, do what you like. I don't care. There's nothing here that can be
Yeah, yeah,
moved
yeah.
or can be um, killed or anything. It's just, and
Exactly,
so
yeah.
that's. I thought of that recently because that's kind of like this as well in a way, because it's like this, whatever this is unmovable. So whatever's going on, this can't really be affected by it. It's just,
No, 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 no. How can it affect something?
yeah,
Illusion. How can an illusion affect something that is permanent?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. That's what I mean when everything just comes and go because they're illusion. The openness of this boundlessness is what is permanent. The silence where all of this arises from, the emptiness where all of this is coming from, never moves. That's what's happening. That's the only thing that's happening, really. And all of
Yeah.
these flies that seems to appear and all of these distractions are not
Mm.
real. They're just playing in the field of emptiness, and it's all innocent play. It's like a child playing, toy soldiers, different sides, making sound effects, and doesn't really know what good or evil is, but pretends it knows it. Oh, you're evil, but it sees everything as a playset. It's playing in the field of emptiness, and the
Yeah.
field of emptiness is the child, the innocent child that's playing all of this.
Except that sometimes the character can take the play as serious, and then
Yeah,
it all
but the
gets.
character's not even real, so who cares, really?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just light. It's just
It's lighter,
seeing.
isn't it?
It's yeah. It's like it's just constant, like seeing in a way.
Yeah.
It's like it's like getting tripped up and then, oh no, yeah, it's okay, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
this is kind of settling down into this.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the
So I,
immediacy and the intimacy of what's happening, right? It because it appears as everything, the seeing,
yeah,
the drinking, the walls, the air is in
yeah,
love with itself. So it appears unconditionally. So whatever appears is this in loveness that is just masquerading as separation, masquerading as whatever, but it's all a play.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's just clarity, right? And there's nothing really left to say when it's clear. Because the moment that an idea of separation pops up, it's seen as a play again. You're like, oh, there it is again. It's kind of
Yeah,
funny.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I remember you were getting frustrated in one of the one-on-ones because you're like, oh, I have to get this, Emerson. You know, it's like,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've done lots. I mean, the last few days, last few weeks, I think since I had COVID, I was spending a lot of time listening to one-on-ones that you did, which were
oh yeah, yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
gorgeous.
I don't know where they're posted, but there's a bunch of them. You know,
Yeah, you sent
they're
to me quite a few of
they're
them.
enlisted. Yeah, they're enlisted. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
and absolutely. And what is was really touching, and I guess something that helped break like a breakthrough, if you like, was seeing how different everybody's seeing was, or
yeah,
how different like the. And it's like because I was comparing all the time, it's like, oh yeah, but I'm not seeing this, or I've seen that, or
yeah.
um,
I'm not seeing
like
shimmering. What do you mean shimmering?
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's it. I do actually. I do see shimmering nearly every day when
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sitting there. I see
yeah,
shimmering, but I never thought of anything special about it.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Um, and so because these one-to-ones were just so beautiful, just so amazing,
yeah,
such beautiful people and beautiful, openings. And it's like, I don't know, just something cracked open. Like it's so simple. It's like I was looking for something really complicated, and that, in fact, it's not.
yeah,
And that's what, like, I was trying so hard. There's got to be more to it
yeah,
than
yeah,
that. It can't be. It's
yeah.
and
Yeah, I
so
should post
yeah,
more of those. I love them. I love them. It's when I see well, there's no one here, but when they're seeing, you know what I'm saying, that there's unconditional love there, or infinity, or emptiness that is pretending, you know what I'm saying? All that I
yeah,
could do is just welcome it.
yeah, yeah,
Love it, you know what I'm saying? I don't have
yeah.
any
It's
there's
hard.
no one doing anything here. So it's just a reflection of nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's kind of funny. I talk differently to different people, although there's no one there, right? It's just a
yeah,
dance. I don't know if you see it now.
yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so beautiful. Yeah, and I listened to Clever Jeremy with his tracks that he did with your um,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
death. I think there's a couple, isn't there? There's death, and then there's the dream. It was Jeremy, isn't it, that
Jeremy,
added the
yeah,
music, the chill out music to it,
yeah,
which was, and in fact, I mean, you probably agree, but there's something about music that, when put to
yeah, yeah,
these words, it goes deeper. There's something there. I don't know what it
yeah.
is. I
There's
can't
a couple of
explain
people
it.
that said that they fell away from the death one, or the the dream one, right?
Yeah,
It's something unclicked. You know, saying it's just kind of like, what the
yeah,
hell?
yeah, yeah. No, and I think just because of the combination of the music, it kind of, I don't know, resonates very, very deeply. So yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
So thank you for those.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's always this emptiness, right? And it never really changes. Whatever appears, you know, is the changing, kind of like, you know, the news, the weather, you know, or whatever,
Yeah.
stomach ache or whatever appears is just really all emptiness appearing, and none of them really stay. They
Yeah.
disappear, and it's this
Yeah.
emptiness is just so welcoming with everything, that because it sees also all of it as emptiness.
It's just appearing and disappearing
Yeah,
constantly.
yeah, yeah. But since we think that there's time, right? Um, Nothing's
Yeah.
really appearing.
Yeah. That's freaky out, that no time.
Yeah, and it can't be understood because, you know, thinking requires time, but really there's no thinking because there's no time.
You know what though? I mean, something that always troubled me a lot of my adult life is this feeling of getting somewhere, this kind of movement of going from this place to that place, and this kind of constant motion of getting somewhere or chasing after something. And it never made any sense to me.
Well, you just described the illusion. The illusion basically is finding and
Yeah,
seeking, right? So it seeks for itself, but you keep you keep on seeking for unconditional love, but it appears every single moment. It's in your seeing. It's in the walls. It's in the you're looking for God, and God is appearing everywhere.
exactly.
And it's not
Yeah,
separate.
that's it.
It's not
It's that
separate. Yeah.
thinking of this can't be it. In the future, it will be it. Or, in the
It
future,
because it,
it
it
will be
keeps on
found.
rejecting it.
Yeah,
It keeps on
exactly.
rejecting it, right? Rejection of unconditional love or you know, unconditional God or whatever. It keeps on rejecting it
Yeah,
because it thinks it's not worthy, or it think it can do better.
yeah.
The illusion can do better. It's like, wow, this is not it. I'm like, okay, all right,
It's not good enough.
it's not good enough. Well,
Yeah,
or even when it's being suggested that this is not real, and then the illusion goes, well, it is to me.
yeah,
So it rejects what's being
yeah,
presented all the time.
yeah. Yeah, that's why this isn't heard, I think, uh, because it has to bypass this kind of filtering process of the mind, which is trying
Yeah, yeah,
to analyze it.
yeah. And it can't be bypassed really. There's, you know what I'm saying, because it's instantaneous that's happening, right? Um, so nothing
Yeah,
really happens. It's not a cause and effect, right? Because it's something that is everything is saying telling you that this is it, and then the operating system is saying that this is not it.
exactly. Bloody operating system. I need to upgrade.
Yeah. But since the operating system is the illusion, it can only believe in illusion. It only thinks in illusion.
Yeah, so you have to
Yeah,
bypass.
yeah, yeah. It's almost when it's caught off guard, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, when it's caught off guard, it's kind of like, what the hell?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I always notice it when there's a dropping away or a seeing that the eyes are darting around, like it's it's not
Yeah, because
fixated on
it's
something anymore. It's open. It's an open house now.
yeah,
So it's curious about everything.
yeah,
It's playful.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's not
Already,
this.
this character is pretty playful, but it's
Yeah.
it's always
Yeah. It's
even
not
more.
stuck anymore. It's not. It's like the operating lens is dislodged, right? So it's not like the moment that someone is thinking, you can see it in their eyes. It's kind of like trying to figure out something. How do
Yeah,
I get this? Maybe I'll ask Emerson for one-on-one videos. You know what I'm saying, or all this kind of stuff.
yeah.
It's not in the videos.
Well, it isn't. It isn't.
Not really,
It's kind of a.
because
It
the
seems to be.
the idea that's in the video is what keeps it obscured.
Oh, that's curious.
Yeah. So when it's seen that it's not in anything, then it kind of like it dislodges, like what the fuck, because it's everything.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's because the focus that it's in there, right? But when the
Yeah.
the, the lens widens, it's kind of like that's
Yeah.
when the
That's
openness
it.
happens. It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's not even hearing what's being said anymore. It's just the simplicity because there's an openness. So yeah, watching videos can disrupt it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it doesn't, but it's a suggestion, right? Because everything is appearing is already wholeness.
That's the hard thing, isn't it, about non-duality in a way? Because like, if you don't do anything,
There's no one
you're
doing
buggered. If you
anything
do
anyway.
anything,
Yeah,
yeah. But I mean, like in terms of you giving these non-duality one-to-ones and sessions, and
yeah,
which are absolutely beautiful.
yeah. I
Uh,
love them. I
they,
love them. I love them. Yeah,
they do seem to, help in some way, even
yeah,
though you
yeah,
would say that they don't.
yeah.
But but I guess once it's seen, then it's seen. It's like, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the old thing with the thorn.
It can't
You
be
know, you need
unseen.
a
Yeah.
thorn to remove a thorn, and then you throw both
Yeah.
of them away,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, it's kind of like, what I say is, when someone does a one-on-one, they're caught in a tiger's mouth already. They're already dead.
Yeah,
They're just pretending they're not. They're like, well, I'm still here, Emerson.
yeah,
Kind of like what you're doing. Remember, I think I told you that, and I'm like, well, this is already done.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have anything in particular that I want to talk to you about today.
Yeah,
I felt a drawing to
yeah,
connect with you, and
yeah.
yeah, it's,
Beautiful.
yeah. You look so vibrant.
What's that?
You look so vibrant.
Oh, thank you. You too.
It's true.
It's yeah. Thank you. It's beautiful chatting with you. Um, it's just emptiness now, right? There's just it's like the topics are gone.
You know what?
The topics are gone. The questions are gone. It's
Yeah,
just kind of
yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah, it's just empty.
yeah, yeah. I was talking to someone today, earlier, and then he kept on coming. Goes, oh, it's like, oh, and I'm like, what's apparently happening? He goes, my questions are getting erased. He goes, are you doing that? I'm like, no one's doing it. It's just erasing by itself. And he goes, what the hell is going on? It's like this. I'm like, well, I think the guard is down. The guard is the one that asked the questions. The
Yeah,
disruptor, right? It's kind of like, what? How about this? How about that? It keeps on rejecting what's being offered. That there's nothing. That it's just all emptiness. Because it bases it in its own illusion of experience and knowing and
yeah,
understanding, right? So it keeps on guarding it. It guards all of the knowledge and all of the wisdom and everything that it learned, because when it's seen that that actually is all empty, then it doesn't exist. So that 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 memory or history is guarded, right?
yeah.
Because it's really empty.
And that's a relief, because like that collecting of concepts is so heavy. It's like, yes, I've got to see this, and Emerson said that, and that means this, and it's like
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's crazy,
Yeah.
but it's not needed. So,
Yeah.
and it's empty anyway. It's just
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's needed while it's needed, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm happy to leave you. Could you probably want to break anyway? So you probably got other people after
Oh,
me.
I'll pause this right now. Thank you. This is beautiful. It's kind of funny, is because when there's no one, the one-on-ones usually last. When they're kind of like, I don't know what to say to you, Emerson, but I just feel
Yeah,
compelled.
exactly.
Our last one-on-one, I was kind of like hating there was 5 minutes left, because I need to get this. I need to get this. And they're like looking at me
Yeah,
like, that's five
yeah,
minutes left.
exactly.
I'm like, what I'm not dropped yet. What the hell? When when there's when it apparently kind of like unhappens, you know what I'm saying? They're like,
Yeah,
I woke up this morning, and and then all the thoughts that were arising are empty. And I thought that I would message you, because I was frustrated in the last one, and I might have seemed angry at you. And
yeah.
and then and then they're like, after like 10 minutes, they're like, I really don't have anything to talk about to you anymore. You're useless.
Oh.
Goes, but I love you, but you're useless. But I'm like, thank you.
Oh, it's
I'll
mean and
pause this
sweet at the
now.
same time.
What's that?
I have one question.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
That's okay. It's just a personal